Jill.
Yes.
We got a lot of questions.
Okay, I like questions.
We don't have a lot of time, but we got a lot of questions. So let's try to work through some questions here because
Okay.
people seem to want your answers on their questions.
Yay, thank you.
No flattery whatsoever with you. That's how people roll in Chicago, man. So we're going to start with a special edition of Ask MotoMan TV from the 2016 LA Auto Show. Okay, so I want to start with a question from a longtime viewer.
Okay.
He lives in England.
Okay.
He is an engineer. He drives a Volkswagen GTD. Pretty exciting. So a GTI, but a diesel.
Right.
Mark Carruthers. He asks about the BMW 5 Series.
Okay.
And this new 5 Series coming up.
Yes.
And what he wanted to know is some general thoughts. What are your thoughts on the new 5 Series?
And the new 5 Series. Like the worst possible question could be asked because I know nothing about it.
Because you know nothing about it. And I will have to answer with, I know some more about it, but what I do want to say, and this is the reason why I took this question, is it is an important car. It is very much the small, medium, large strategy of design.
Right.
It is a baby 7 Series.
Yeah.
I mean, identical carbon copy. But what I want to do, Mark, is tell you and the audience that we are driving that car. We're going to drive that car in January.
Oh, awesome.
So I'm very excited to try it. I'm also to see not just the actual way the car drives, but what technology makes the trip from Germany. Because there's some technology like the laser beam headlights and the auto parking with the key.
You can't make it.
Didn't come here, and I want to see if maybe some laws have changed, and hopefully it comes.
Yeah.
Because I love toys like that,
Well, you know, and I will say,
especially
like,
when I'm not paying for it.
the BMW 5 Series of the BMW lineup, it is probably my favorite car, so I'll look forward to checking it out.
Okay, cool. We will have to return to this point, you
We
and I, and
will.
talk about
We
it
will.
again. Now I want to move on to the next question, and this is another longtime viewer of the show, Mark. Mark, actually, he's interesting. He's one of the only viewers of the show that participated in the MotoMan Rewards program. I didn't even know there was a MotoMan Rewards program.
Okay.
He nagged one of our GM contacts so much that they loaned him a car.
Oh, that's funny.
When he came to LA, really.
Well, you know.
He's not just anybody. He runs a major user group of Volt owners in Canada. You should go visit them. You should really. Mark, what's your Twitter handle?
Which one do you want? You want the funny one.
Yeah, well, you can give the funny
Jill
one.
Ciminillo, all one word,
Yeah.
or Girl in the Trunk, which is the easier
Mark, you should invite her to talk to your group because she knows everything about electric cars and she's smarter than me in that instance and only that instance. Anyway, Mark wanted to know what you and I were most excited about at the show.
Well, good thing for him is the thing that I'm most excited about is an electric car, and it is the Jaguar I-Pace that they revealed.
Okay, and why? Why are you excited about that?
Well, I think it's going to be a true competitor to Tesla. It's 220 miles of range and 400 horsepower, so it's got the range, it's got the power, and it looks amazing.
I agree with you on the looks. Like they could have made a blob, and we talked about that in the
Right,
recap
we
video, but instead they put some.
Personality in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say sensuality, but no, it's still too blobby-esque.
Well, it's not. I
But
don't
it
think
does
it's
have personality.
Blobby-esque, but
Well,
it's
the
got some
top of it,
edges.
the daylight opening is all of a blob.
Okay.
The rest of it has shape and form, and even like it's got haunches, which you
does.
don't see on electric cars.
No, it's gorgeous.
I can't say I'm excited about that.
Okay, I'm excited about it.
Well, no, let me take it back. Yes, I am excited about it, but it's not the thing that I'm most excited about at the show. I'm having a hard time, to be very honest with you. It's three things, and you're going to laugh at me.
Okay.
We talked about that Hyundai Genesis G8. It's still not totally on the conversion, but Genesis G80 with a twin-turbo V6.
Right.
I know it's kind of the sleeper hit of the show.
Right.
That Panamera. It's the first time they showed it in the U.S., but they showed the V6 and the Executive.
Okay.
The Executive was pretty cool, so I'm excited about that.
Okay.
And then, you're probably going to call me a ninny here, but just from a design and what they've done to it, the CX-5, man.
Yeah. No, I would agree.
Pretty cool.
So one of the really cool things about that car, I was talking to them about the paint because I was like trying to get some angles on the paint.
Amazing, yeah.
And this is a new paint for them that has, it's like the
Oh,
Soul
it's not
Red.
Soul Red?
It is Soul Red,
Yeah.
but it's crystal, Soul Red crystal, so it has crystal flex in it.
That's why. I didn't know what that was.
It is the same paint that they had on the RX Vision.
Yeah.
But the RX Vision was hand painted, and this is mass produced paint
Yeah.
that mimics that really cool RX Vision. So
So for those of you that want to see the RX Vision, there's a picture of us on Instagram laying in front of it.
Yes.
So you can go see what that paint looks like there. And compare it to the CX-5. But Yeah, I could go with the Maybach. Would be
Okay.
really easy to go with the Maybach
Wow.
because people know I've got a soft spot in my heart for that car. But
Right.
no, the CX-5 I think is the most important in terms of what's coming out
Right.
for today's infrastructure because it's going to have that diesel.
Yep.
310
Okay,
pound feet of torque. Oh, and go and check out, I did a world premiere tech review of that with Dave Coleman, so go and check that out.
Yes.
Now I want to bring up another old friend of the show, Rick in Nashville. He is 7 foot tall. He drives a Cadillac,
Okay.
super nice guy,
Okay.
works in tech. He wants to know if he could fit into a Bolt, a Chevrolet Bolt.
Ooh.
Do you think someone's 7 feet tall? And only you can answer because you are 4'11".
Well, I know I fit. You know what? It's got some really good headroom.
Yeah.
And I would say I would guess yes. Mostly just because of the good headroom. But I
Rick, I'm actually going to take a flyer on this one and say I think you can fit.
Yeah.
Like, go and look at the episode. We drove it way back in CES, and I had plenty of headroom, and I'm
Right.
6 foot. He's
Right.
a whole foot taller than me, but
Right.
I think you should try it. Granted, I wouldn't give up your V. He's got a V Sport, so he's got like the 400 horsepower. He's,
yeah, don't give that
yeah,
up.
he's. Oh, and you know what? His wife drives a Mini.
Okay.
Yeah, so good car people out there in
Yes.
Nashville. Joel Hanna. I brought this up because this is a profound question. Joel Hanna from Twitter, he wants to know what OEM at the show here is the most improved overall business case in today's world. It could be like the I-Pace trying to be forward and bringing Jaguar forward into EV, or it could be the array of what Mazda is doing. I don't know. But I don't think it's a case of displays. No one really cares about displays.
There's a couple that come to mind immediately, and one is Nissan, frankly.
Why is that? That's an interesting choice.
It is because I used to think their design was really ugly. And I didn't like it. It was just standard, boring, blah, blah. And now, like, especially as you can see with the Sentra Nismo, like, that's got some personality. And the interiors are really nice.
Interior on the Sentra Nismo is pretty good.
But I mean, just the interiors in general of Nissan are really nice and super
Are you saying that
comfortable.
just because of the Rogue, because they've made it much more fancy?
A little bit, but I would say I first noticed it in the Murano. And with the zero gravity seats, and then again with the Nissan Titan. And I'm not too much of a pickup truck person, but that truck blows pretty much every other truck I've ever driven out of the water. It's quiet, there's great visibility, it's got some cool technology. I've driven the XD as well as just the regular gasoline smaller truck. And just all around from a product standpoint, I feel like Nissan has a lot of good stuff going on. I mean, they've got pickup trucks, they've got the GTR, they've got, this Nismo Sentra. So from small to large,
Okay.
They've got this amazing lineup, and everything I've driven from them, save one vehicle, I've been incredibly impressed with.
This is a woman making a very strong case for Nissan. And I can agree on some points, but I think overall most improved I would disagree.
Okay.
And I would have a hard choice between Volvo and Mazda. And here's why.
Okay.
From a portfolio perspective, I think Volvo is way out in front.
Yeah.
It's a smaller portfolio,
Yeah.
but it's going to grow.
Yeah.
I know for a fact that we're going to see a new XC60 somewhere over the summer, and then you're going to see a new S60 and V60 in the second half of the year.
Right.
And that'll complete the lineup. But they've done this on effectively a shoestring budget. And I've driven now most of their range, and I am blown away dynamically. So there's that.
Okay.
Mazda, on the other hand, it amazes me how they overperform with no budget.
Yeah, and Mazda was in my head as well.
Yeah.
And what I think I heard somewhere, and I could be completely wrong, I feel like they only put out 150,000 units a year.
It's super small. Like, to give you an idea, like comparison, the Toyota Camry does 450,000 units a year, just that
Just
model
that
line. And the Mazda 6 only does something like 100,000.
Yeah.
So we're talking huge differences.
Yeah. No, they smaller lineup, smaller production,
Yeah.
but they really have just completely. We were talking during the Kia Cadenza, and I was like, Kodo, Soul of Motion,
Yeah.
the marketing mumbo jumbo that you love so much. But the design, like of every single vehicle in their lineup now, is just, it's nice.
Especially the interiors.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I just found out that all the interiors that are done, they had obviously most car manufacturers, and this answers your question, Joel. This answers your question. Most, whether it's Mercedes over there, Volvo, Acura, Alfa Romeo, they all have design studios around the world. But it turns out most of the work that's been done here on Mazda, all the interior work's done here in California.
Oh.
And just because they've been winning the design competitions worldwide, which I think
Okay.
is fascinating. So that's my answer to Joel's question. Okay, so with that, let's take one last quick question.
Okay.
And this is a very specific question from a guy named Dalibor.
Okay.
It sounds like a James Bond villain. That name. It's a very cool name, Dalibor. I can't pronounce your last name, Krajilik. My apologies if I have mispronounced your last name. And this very specific question is, what happened to the double overhead cam V8 CT6?
Got it.
When they first showed the car, and when we first drove the car, they said a V8 is coming.
Right.
They also said a plug-in hybrid is coming.
Okay.
Now at this show, they did show the plug-in hybrid. I don't know if you saw that.
I did not.
They showed that one, but they haven't showed the V8 yet. But I have it on good authority that is still coming. I don't know when.
Okay.
I do have a meeting with them tomorrow.
Okay.
So I will find out more, Dalibor, but I wanted to get your question answered with Jill here because I know she is a big fan of American cars.
I am.
I was just making that up, but are
Okay.
you really a fan of American cars?
Sure. I
Okay.
would buy American.
Okay,
My
good.
husband owns a Ford.
Really?
Yes.
Uh-huh, interesting. What Ford?
Here's a fun fact for you.
Okay.
I say people will either be horrified or
If it's a
they
C-Max,
love
I'm
it.
throwing off
It's not.
camera right now.
It's not.
It better be a Mustang.
No, it's not a Mustang. It is a very peculiar car. It is
I'm
a
worried.
1999
Okay,
Ford
yeah.
Contour
SVT?
SVT.
He can stay.
Yeah,
Okay, he's a Wildcat. I don't like him for that, but it's such a peculiar car.
it is a peculiar car.
And it only came as a stick, right?
Yeah, 5-speed
Okay.
manual transmission.
He stays.
Yep.
Okay, good.
I can
okay.
keep him.
We like him. You can keep
Yay,
him.
love you, honey.
Okay, so with that, we want to leave a question for the audience. We've answered their question. I think
Yep.
we should ask a question now. It's our turn.
Yes.
What questions do you want to leave for the audience? What do you want to know from them?
What do I want to know? All right, so we looked at a lot of cool cars. Of the concept cars that you saw today, which one would you want them to actually build and why?
Wow, that's a tough call because there was the Jaguar. What else did we see concept-wise? The CHR, is that a concept car?
No, CHR is actually finally
It's
production.
a real car. Wow. So that was a concept car back in
Yeah.
New York. And then what else? What are the concept cars?
I'm like trying to run through my head. I've taken a lot of pictures.
The
I know
Escala. I didn't talk about that.
Yeah,
I
the
can't
Escala.
believe I went through a show without talking about a Cadillac.
Yeah.
The Escala, and then.
There's the Buick Vista.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I want. Okay, that's the one I want. Okay, so there's more. Anyway, which concept car do you want to build? And
Yeah.
don't just tell us which one, but why do you want them to build it? Let us know in the comments below or via our social media, MotoManTV all one word, MotoManTV all one word, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And with that, I want to leave them with two things. Have you downloaded our app?
Yes. Of
It's
course
the right,
I have.
That is the right answer.
I always
On
have
your
the right
iPad
answer.
too?
I haven't turned my iPad on in like months, so not
Okay,
yet.
so I'll give you a pass on that one.
Thank you.
And did you know that how many airlines are we live on now?
5. That
Nice.
I know.
Name one.
Oh, Emirates?
Wow, she's finally paying attention. And we should leave them with a fun fact.
Okay.
What's the fun fact? Because you're the guest, you leave the fun fact.
A fun fact of the show or me or...
Could be about you. Actually, maybe it should be about you.
Should be about me. You may not know this, but I'm a runner.
Well, that's actually why we first met.
It is.
We're both runners.
But I'm a slow runner.
Yes, you are.
My fastest marathon time is 4:43.
Not horrible.
Not horrible, but so I'm putting it on camera, I'm putting it on film.
Yeah.
The fun fact is, next year, I am determined to beat Oprah's marathon time.
Which was 4:20.
4:29.
And are they going to sponsor you?
No,
Okay, so 4:29.
4:29.
So 4:28:59, we're good.
Yes, we're good. So next
Okay.
year at this time,
That is a hell of a fun fact.
yes, I'm going to beat Oprah.
Okay, excellent. And with that, we are going to say bis später, and thank you for joining us throughout our time here at the 2016 Los Angeles International Auto Show.
Yes.